This podcast is part of the Everyday Heroes Podcast Network, the network for first responders and those who support them.
Welcome back to Scissors and Scrubs. I'm Nicole.
I'm Laura.
Well, we clearly misjudged and thought we had covered the entire month of December.
We didn't.
We did not.
No.
And so here we are, Christmas Eve, when we should both be doing other things.
Yeah.
We are here recording for our lovely listeners because we just are so dedicated to this podcast.
Or just so not organized enough to get this
I'm
shit
in my
together.
Christmas pajamas, and it's cold outside, and there's the threat that we might get a winter white Christmas.
Yeah.
A little bit of a
Little bit.
dusting. My daughter's all excited.
You know it's going to be like slush.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or it's going to be frozen and everybody's going to fall and break their hips
you know.
coming to my house. So we had to squeak out one more episode in the middle of all of the Christmas chaos
Yeah.
to make sure we stay on track.
Yes.
So we decided to cover plastic surgery.
Yes. It's our gift to you.
It's our gift to you. Maybe your husband's giving you a new boob job or grandpa's giving you a new Brazilian butt lift. Who knows? I found this a tough episode because there's so much to cover with
Tons.
plastic surgery. And when I tell you we're going to touch just the tip of the iceberg, the amount of insecure people who feel they need to enhance everything from head to toe in their body is astounding. The lengths they will go to do it is even more astounding.
Yeah.
Knowing it could kill them, they don't care. They want that gigantic butt.
Yeah.
And they don't care that it could kill them.
Yeah.
So
there'll be future episodes on plastic surgery.
there will be.
I'm
I mean, because
sure.
it's endless. Look at Botched. I mean,
So
those
if
guys-
you have stories, write them in.
Oh my God, yes. Oh my God, yes. And you know, and I dabble on the very periphery with doing the Botox. And even that, I mean, I was speaking to a woman the other day who is stunning. She's absolutely gorgeous. And she's like, and I want to go to Miami and I'm going to have this done. I'm going to have this done. I'm like, why? Why? Like, at some point we're going to grow old. And
Right.
at some point all of that's going to look ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because you can only carry it for so long.
Right.
And then you tip, you know, you see all these actresses. They look great. And then they tip into the, I don't look so great anymore.
Right.
Courtney Cox, perfect example. Meg Ryan, perfect example.
yeah.
So Laura's going to start. She's just going to cover Brazilian butt lift. We could, the rest of it's pretty I mean, you know what a boob job is. You know what liposuction is. But a Brazilian butt lift is more than I thought it was.
Okay.
You know, I didn't realize I thought it was just literally butt lift.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. So Laura's going to cover that because it's going to be mentioned multiple times during this episode. One of the cases I cover I thought was going to be a great plastic surgery episode, and it really turned into something completely different, but you're going to hear it anyway because I was invested and I'm invested, so it's coming out. So go ahead.
All right. So I got my information from everything from like the other stories I'm going to tell too, from theguardian.com, newsweek.com, People Magazine, JJRothMD.com, and RollingStone.com. So a Brazilian butt lift, or as I'm going to say from the rest of the episode, BBL, is since 2015, the number of BBLs performed around the world has grown by 77.6%.
Wow, that's a lot.
It is the fastest growing cosmetic surgery. So it's over boob job. Like everybody's going for the Brazilian butt lift. Mainly because of Kim K.
Oh, and her big fat ass.
Kim K's ass in that magazine cover when she has she has a black dress on and it's her whole ass is out and there's like a champagne glass on top of it. Broke the internet. Everybody wants a BBL now.
All I can do is think of how bad I want to get rid of my ass. And how, like,
I
I am
know.
on the treadmill. Maybe I was at one time. And I'm trying this, I'm trying that. And I get in pants. I'm like, oh, why do they want such
I'll
a
go into
massive
this.
butt?
I'll go into this.
All right.
All right.
Because it's not even normal. They get these little, how do you buy pants with a waist 28
I
and
don't
a
know what
butt
size pants
45?
you're in. I don't understand that. J-Lo and Nicki Minaj have also influenced it. But it's...
Nicki Minaj is ridiculous.
Yeah. It's all over everything. It's just everywhere. But there's always been a
Butt thing?
a butt thing, like people striving for the perfect butt. The hourglass figure has been the ideal for thousands of years. Like you've always, all the big actors like Marilyn Monroe and Jane Mansfield and like all those people, they had that hourglass, big boobs, little waist, big butt. Like that has always been the ideal. The perfect butt, it's actually like a math formula. The perfect butt is 45 degrees from the base of the spine to the top of the butt.
What does it mean?
So like if you go from the base of your spine, it is 45 degrees. Your top of your butt should just be 45 degrees below your base of your spine.
Mine's way lower than that.
It helps to achieve this 45 degree angle if you have the perfect spine, which naturally protrudes at the base. So your spine should naturally curve at the base, and that helps get the perfect butt. But a lot of people don't. They aren't getting that perfect butt. Evolutionary psychologists published a paper in 2015 stating that the lumbar curvature signified a woman's ability to bear children, which made her more attractive to men. So, like, prehistoric age,
it was all like
cavemen.
A genetic thing.
Yes, if you had that lumbar spine bump in the butt, you could
breed.
bear children. That's who guys wanted. So it has been a thing for a million years. So men have always liked a big old butt. Women have tried for ages to get that butt. They used to use corsets to suck their waists in and made their butts look bigger. Then they would use bustles. They would bustle the backs of their skirts, makes their butt looks bigger. Now there are padded underwear. Women actually put on padded underwear, padded, what are those? You know,
pants.
It's like the, what the hell that we use every year, that we wear every day. Jesus Christ.
Compressions?
No, just leggings. Like leggings. They have leggings with padded butts in them.
Where are you going with this,
Laura?
Laura?
But they have like
straps?
all these.
I thought you were going to say jock straps.
No, but they have like, you can just get pants with a padded butt. They have those like, those pants that are on those commercials on like Instagram. It's like makes your butt look big. It's like waffled texture.
The last thing I want to do is make my butt
I don't
look
want
big.
my butt to look big either, but apparently everybody else does. And now you can have implants, you can have fillers injected, or you can have a BBL. BBL started in Brazil by Dr. Never going to say this right. Ivo Pitingai. A guy in Brazil. He was known as the Pope of plastic surgery. And he's known as the Pope of plastic surgery. He like revolutionized plastic surgery, but also he would do rich people and he gave free plastic surgery to poor people.
Oh, well,
so he was
something.
the Pope. You could go to like, your local hospital,
and
like
he would come in and do.
And he would do cases for people that
was
didn't have
he doing
health insurance.
Like reconstructive for the poor because they have some disfiguring things happen, or was he doing like?
I think maybe both.
Okay, you live in a hut. Let me give you a Brazilian.
I think
brother.
both.
Okay.
Yep. He's said to have worked on Frank Sinatra, Sophia Loren, like huge people.
Frank Sinatra?
Yeah.
Face. I was like, he didn't get a Brazilian butt lift, did he?
No. He did all sorts of plastic surgery.
It's all coming to me now. All right.
He's the one who started the Brazilian butt lift, but he did tons of every other plastic surgery known to man. He started a plastic surgery academy in 1960. His students came from all over the world to learn from him. So a lot of the plastic surgeons now all over the world trained there, and then trained other people, where they live. They like all learned from this guy. BBL is done by removing fat from one area and depositing it into your butt.
Now, I don't mind you removing fat from one area and maybe sticking it back in my boobs, but not my butt.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's yeah. So first, you have a consultation with your plastic surgeon. You should go to a board-certified plastic surgeon.
We'll get into all the things you should do before you have plastic surgery.
They're going to take pictures of you. You're going to be naked. There are pictures of you naked. If you go into a plastic surgery room,
they're posted on the wall.
On the wall, so they can see, like, this is what they wanted. This is where it's going. You're naked taking pictures. If you can do that, God bless you. That right there stops me from getting plastic surgery. But they mark your body. Like, they use a black marker for where they're going to take it from. They use a red marker for where they're going to put it.
like a cut of meat.
Yeah. It's like you're marked all up so they know exactly, and they know where you're taking this fat from, where are you depositing it. They also like say I was super skinny and I went in and I said, I want to
super skinny.
I want a BBL. Take the fat from my stomach and the backs of my arms and put it in my butt. You have to have enough fat there to do that.
Right.
They're not going to take it if it's going to make your stomach look all messed up.
Right. Oh, they're going to hit something trying to get it out because you're too skinny.
But if they take it, like they'll say a lot of places that don't do it well or when you can tell by the belly buttons on these girls because they shouldn't have taken fat to begin with, or they took too much because then now they've deformed the stomach to give you the butt. It's a whole science. If you don't have enough, they can't do it. Like it's a whole, it's a balance. So reputable surgeons will only insert a certain amount of fat into your butt, usually about 300 cc's per cheek.
Just can't even.
I know. Then they're going to see what it looks like when it heals, because 50% of the fat that they deposit dies off.
Wow.
Yes. So they're putting in 300. It looks like this when you leave.
But like 150.
But a month later, right, you only have 150 cc's. And it's not going to all die in the same area or along. So they have to look like, where's it deposited, blah, blah, blah. Right. And then you might have to go back and have it done again. It. Right. But a reputable surgeon is going to do that. Like, we're only doing this much. We'll see how it looks. And then we can go back in and fix it again. So when you go for surgery, you'll be put under anesthesia. The surgeon will inject the area of fat that they're going to remove. So say your stomach, that's usually the main place. With a saline injection, it's usually mixed with local anesthesia and adrenaline, which helps shrink the blood vessels in that
like
area.
Like
Yep. And it helps control the bleeding. And it creates like a wetting effect. So the fat...
Wetting like we get married?
Wetting. With
teas?
Yeah.
It's like
it makes it wet. So the fat can be more liquefied and removed easier and then put in easier.
My fat ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
It's one congealed mass.
This is done with very long, thin needles. So they take that injection and it's wicked. I mean, they're like, how long?
Very long.
Like 8 inches.
Probably,
like,
longer. I'd say almost a foot long.
Yeah. It's like the shit you use for this is so ridiculously long. So they're going to inject that whole area. Get it wet. Then the surgeon makes tiny incision and inserts this like very long, blunt cannula under the skin to harvest the fat. So now they're sucking out your fat.
And if you've ever seen liposuction, now maybe this isn't as aggressive because of the way
it's the same.
Liposuction is the most violent procedure to watch that I've ever seen.
Yeah,
and
they're stabbing you over and over.
And you can see, and it's like they're just jamming it in and they're trying to get all that fat out. And if they're doing like your thighs and stuff, you can see why people die from this, on a regular basis, because it's so aggressive. Yeah. It's so violent. And it's not something you think you're going to have on Friday and you're going to go sit on the beach on Sunday because you are going to be bruised.
Yeah. From
so bad where it happened, it takes like a month for that bruising to go away. So you can't think you're going to have plastic surgery go away next week. No. Like, you got to do this 2 months before you're going to do something.
Minimum. So the cannula goes in, they whip it back and forth under your skin.
I whip my hand.
The fat travels down sterile tubing to a sterile canister. The blood and saline solution are then removed from the fat. It like mixes it down. So it's just the fat left in the canister.
And it's so gross to look at.
Once the fat is removed, it only stays alive for 1 to 2 hours.
Oh.
Yeah, which I didn't realize.
Yeah.
Well, so it's an endocrine organ. It dies, but I didn't. So when you're doing that, like they have to do it in a certain timely manner to reuse that fat. So it's
we're telling you the proper way because you're going to hear many things in this podcast that were not done the proper way.
Its fat is yellow. When you remove it from the body or when you see it in the body, it's a yellow color. If it turns brownish, it's no longer any good. So if it's sitting in that canister and it starts to turn brown, you can't use that fat. So it is quickly pumped back through the tubing, through another cannula, into the butt. The surgeon uses a foot pedal to control the speed at which the fat goes back into the body. They hold the cannula in one hand and use the other hand to feel the skin to see where the fat should be placed. So you're going in blind. You can't see inside the body.
They don't know. It's going to be all lumpy.
You're just sticking this cannula in. So a good plastic surgeon, though, can feel it. Like they can feel this is where it needs to go. This is where a divot is. And they smooth it out and feel where they need to put that fat. You have to be experienced and trained and know what you're doing to know where it's an art. Like these plastic surgeons are artists. It's an art. You need that hand to see where you're putting this fat.
This takes like hours. This procedure, take hours.
Yeah. The surgery itself is delicate and forceful at the same time. Like you said, like that hand has to see where it's going, feel where it's going. It's an art. Like, I need this much here, I need that much here, but then it's forceful because you're shoving that cannula in and out hard. It's thrust back and forth to remove the fat and to insert it. Like, it's just constantly being thrust. But to replace it, you also have to have like I said, to be delicate, to place it in the right spots and make sure it's even and smooth and not
You do
lumpy.
a good job.
Yeah. The cannula also has to be placed under the skin, but above the muscle, to avoid depositing fat into the vascular system.
Which would be deadly.
Yeah.
Literally deadly.
Yes. If this happens, the patient can have a fat embolus. 1 in 3,000 BBLs result in death.
That's a high number.
It's a ridiculously
People don't
high
think
number.
that's a high number, but that's a high number.
1 in 3,000, and they're done every day. 1 in
Yes.
3,000 is a
They're
lot.
done 12 and 14 a day.
Yeah.
With one surgeon.
Right. Never mind
Yeah.
all the surgeons all over.
Well,
the
I shouldn't say they're not correctly done 12, 14
Right.
because they take forever. If you're done correctly, one surgeon may be doing 2, tops 3 a day.
Right.
And you've got thousands of surgeons doing these.
Right.
So that's a high number.
It's a high number. It is the world's most dangerous cosmetic procedure.
I believe it.
Um,
Is there any lift here at any... Do they go in at any point, like, tuck
No.
muscles up?
no, it's all the fat and fat. It's all the fat transfer.
So if you have a saggy ass...
it's not. It's sitting on top. They're
Right,
putting
but
it
let's
on
say,
top.
like, you're old. You got a
Right.
saggy ass.
No, this
You
isn't.
put all this shit in there.
No.
What's it going to do?
It's just making the top look padded.
I don't need that shit.
No, I don't.
That's back fat.
I know.
For me, it would end up being back fat.
Just drop my back fat a little bit to that 45-degree angle.
Back fat.
please.
I don't need that shit.
No, they don't. No, that's not what
So
it is.
there's
The
no
Brazilian
lifting or
butt lift
anything?
is
No.
just putting in
All
the
right.
fat.
So this is really only going to work on young girls whose
I mean-
asses are still up high.
But you still need the height of your own natural ass.
Right. So if my ass is hanging low, this is going to do me no good.
No. It's just going to fill it out.
I'm a little south of the border these days.
You're just going to have to fill it out. I mean, it would fill it out, so I guess that would look less saggy.
No, I'm good.
Yeah, I don't want it,
Okay.
but I'm just saying.
Imagine me like 80 years old. I'm going to have this big old fat J-Lo ass at the
I always,
nursing home.
like, because then you sit down and then you have that ridge. Like, you're going to have that butt ridge.
Well, you see when they sit and they have the implants. You could see the implant. Was it Nicki Minaj? You could see the implant? One of them, you could see the implant.
I don't want... I feel like
I don't
there's
need
already
it.
a ridge there. I don't want
I don't
a ridge.
need it. I have a problem fitting pants now because I got hips. I can't imagine if my ass was 20 times size it should be.
I know.
Ah.
I mean, if it was naturally that way, it probably looks nice.
Yeah, but what's going to happen over time?
Well, it's just going to fall.
Right. And now
Right.
it's a lot of it falling.
Right.
Like, I don't have that much falling, but I mean...
I think it does die off and like the transfers.
Is this
That's why they
something
have
you'd
to
have
have
to
it. Yes, they have to have it several times.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
The injections, the fat,
I just
whatever.
wouldn't know. No.
It's not like a one-time fix.
No.
Mm-mm.
No plastic surgery. Facelifts?
No,
10
nothing.
years later,
Everything
you have
is,
to have it
it's
done.
all going to fall.
Because
right?
you are aging.
Right.
And that's
Your
part
boobs
of life.
are going to
Yep.
fall. Everything's going to fall. But anyways, that's a Brazilian butt lift. It's a very, very dangerous surgery, even when it's done correctly under like very good plastic surgeons.
Well,
Mhm.
we're going to talk about Brazilian butt lifts later. Because the whole idea of doing this episode came when I was watching this Forensic Files, and it was this doctor who had done plastic surgery and things went bad.
Mhm.
So I was like, oh, we got to do this. It's not like a boom, I'm the only one that thinks that we've been talking about stuff like this. You watch enough Botched, we're going to have to cover something like this.
Mhm.
So I really saw it. I'm like, get the episode. I key it up. I'm going to start at point A.
Okay.
I'm going to veer off to point Z.
Uh-huh.
But eventually, it's going to come back to point A as to why this all happened.
Okay.
But it's really not related to anything we're talking about. But like I said, I was too fucking invested in it. So you're hearing it. All right? All right,
like
kid?
it.
So we're doing Forensic Files, Season 9, Episode 8, Bad Medicine, Dr. Anthony Pignataro. Excuse me. We're going back, Laura.
Okay.
Put in the time machine. Diddle-loop, diddle-loop. 1997.
Oh, graduated high school.
I was traveling. Where was I living I was in New Mexico in 1997. This guy, Anthony Pignataro, is a plastic surgeon.
Mm-hmm.
His claim to fame is inventing the snap-on toupee.
Lovely. I didn't even know that was a thing.
This guy looks right out of a 70s porn.
Wow.
You would put they'd screw 4 bolts into your skull, and you could snap your toupee on. Now, and God bless, the best thing that ever happened to bald men is men started shaving their heads.
Yes.
It's so much sexier.
Yes.
It looks so much better.
Looks great.
No more comb overs, snap-on toupees.
No.
Love you, bald
Get
men.
the bolts out of your head.
Yeah, it's just, you don't need to bolt your head.
Mm-mm.
Okay. So, he is a cosmetic surgeon. You have Sarah Smith. She is a 26-year-old mom of 2. She's going in for a boob job with Dr. Anthony Pignataro. Yeah.
Okay.
He does his surgery out of a clinic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In his surgery is an LPN and his wife. That's it. That's the staff in the surgery.
Okay.
He is going to do a transumbilical boob job, which means, and I don't even know if they do these anymore, but you make an incision just above the belly button and you feed the implant up into the boob and you expand it that way so there's no incisions on your boobs. There is no anesthesiologist or certified registered nurse anesthetist on site at all.
So who gives the anesthesia?
He does. And he's giving her sodium pentothal. He's knocking her out for this. But he's keeping her like in that twilight.
Yeah.
Okay. But this is a procedure. You should be out.
You should be asleep.
You should be asleep with a tube down your throat, like out. So she's complaining of pain because she's drowsy. She's in and out. Yeah, it's going to hurt like a motherfucker. He gives her some more sodium pentothal, and, well, she goes into cardiac arrest.
Well, yeah. There's
nothing on site to save her life because he's in a fucking clinic. Mm-hmm. So they take her to the hospital, and she dies. There's no they can't intubate her. They can't reverse the drug. They get nothing on site.
He doesn't have anything to even reverse
the drug. He has nothing.
Drug.
He has the sodium pentothal. That's it, because he's so fucking smart. I mean, if you make the snap-on toupee, why shouldn't I be able to do anesthesia as well when I wasn't trained?
Oh, my God.
The best part is he's not really a plastic surgeon. Now, you're going to find you do not have to be a board-certified plastic surgeon to do plastic surgery. But you should go to a board-certified plastic surgeon if you're going to have plastic surgery. All right? So basically, any Joe Schmo with an MD can do plastic surgery on you, but that's not what you're looking for when you're going to search for your Brazilian butt lift.
Yes.
So not only is he not a plastic surgeon, he never finished his ENT residency. So he's not really anything.
He didn't finish his residency?
No, we didn't finish his residency as an ENT doctor.
So what is he?
He's nothing. He's doing plastic surgery in a fucking closet with no help, but his wife and a LPN on board.
And he's a doctor because he graduated medical school.
Yes. And these are the caveats you have to watch out for when you have plastic surgery. Do not go to somebody's basement in Chelsea to have your eyeliner tattooed on.
Don't go to a strip mall.
Do not go to a strip mall.
Go to an actual hospital with the anesthesiologist.
Do not fly to the Dominican Republic to have surgery.
Just because it's cheaper doesn't mean it's better.
Exactly. So she dies. Poor Sarah Smith dies. He is charged with criminal manslaughter. He pleads guilty to negligent homicide and he pays $5,000. He goes 6 months to prison and he does 250 hours of community service.
What?
Yep, that's it. And he loses his license.
Yeah, I would hope so.
So, spends his 6 months in jail. He gets out of jail. Mm-hmm. Now he's a felon. He can't find a job anywhere. So he can't leave the area either because that's where parole is. Mm-hmm. So he has to stay in the area. Nobody's going to hire him for anything. Mm-hmm. He and his wife, they start having problems. He can't divorce his wife because his mother doesn't believe in divorce and she'll cut him out of the will.
Oh, well, and he's screwed already. So,
and at some point, he and his wife separate for a while. But he convinces, and she files for divorce and this and that, but after a few months, they kind of reconcile and he convinces her to come back. Mm. Soon as she comes back, like this killer sprinted on his fence, like all this weird shit's happening around, and it's like nobody's forgiving him for what he did. Mm-hmm. And he's convinced that Sarah Smith's husband is behind all of this. Oh. Okay. So then the wife starts getting sick. She doesn't feel right. Mm-hmm. And the sickness would come and it would go, it would come and it would go, and she wouldn't be able to walk. She would have numbness in her hands. She's going to her PCP. He's like, oh, you have pancreatitis. You have Guillain-Barré. You have fibromyalgia. Like, nothing. Oh. And then she'd get better. Mm. And she'd get sick again. She'd go back. He'd be like, oh, it's multiple sclerosis. It's this. They couldn't figure it out. Mm-hmm. So she starts getting really, really sick. She gets so sick, she ends up in a wheelchair and she's admitted to the hospital. I mean, she is sick. Wow. Yeah. The daughter starts getting sick now. Oh, and they're like, what the fuck is going on? So the reason it is a forensic file episode, I love forensic files. It's my favorite, except the guy's voice makes me sleep. Mm-hmm. So finally her PCP, who's in charge or whatever, takes a bone marrow sample. And he sends it off, and I'm not going to pronounce this right. She is having karyorecosis. Her blood cells are disintegrating. Okay. That's I can tell you. And he's like, why the fuck is this happening? So he starts, why would karyocytosis happen?
What causes this?
And he's looking at it and he's piecing all her symptoms together and he's like, She's being poisoned with arsenic.
Oh.
That's what's really going on here. So they pluck her hairs, send her hair off to the lab.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the way arsenic works, it's deposited in the hair follicle.
Mm-hmm.
So as your hair is growing out, the arsenic is going with it. So it's going to stay from the tip of that follicle all the way to the base. So if you've been poisoned over a long period of time,
it'll show the whole
hair is going to show you exactly when you have started being poisoned. So he looks at, he sends the hair out, and she's got 29,580 micrograms per liters of arsenic in her blood, which is the highest level of any human ever found.
Oh my God.
She's put under 24-hour protection immediately. The husband and kids are tested because they also have a son. The husband comes back negative. The son comes back negative. The daughter comes back positive for arsenic poisoning as well. So he's like, it's Sarah Smith's family. The husband's trying to kill her. And the police are like, look into it. And they go looking for him. It's not Sarah Smith's family, because right after she passed away, the whole family picked up and moved to the Midwest. They're nowhere. I forgot where exactly this was. It might be like Pennsylvania or something. They're gone. Yeah. They're not living near her. So they're testing the groundwater. They're looking through the house. They can't find anything. Why is this happening? And Debbie's like, the day I got admitted, my husband had made me soup. And he was like, bring it up, mix it with soup. She gets really, really sick. She said, I remember telling him I can't finish it. Just bring it downstairs. So he left the soup on the counter. The daughter came home from school, saw the soup on the counter. She starts eating it, immediately starts vomiting and getting sick. And the daughter relays this story to the police. Mm-hmm. She also tells them that she would see her father laying ant traps around the house. Mm-hmm. So they come in these like little metal tins. Mm-hmm. They collect the ant traps. They talk, there's only one manufacturer makes this particular ant trap. It's laced with arsenic, enough arsenic to kill like a ridiculous, as much as the Schnell's green fucking paint, all right? It's good. It could kill 200 people in a sitting. So they're able to find out that she started getting poisoned in May 1999, right when she starts reconciling with him. Uh-huh. He starts poisoning her. He thought these little doses would kill her, but what was happening is he was making her like immune to it, like a cockroach. If you give him enough poison, he's going to get immune to it, and you're going to have to really dose him. Mm-hmm. So in July of 1999 is when he hits her with that huge dose, thinking it's going to kill her. Still doesn't fucking kill her, because now she's built up an immunity to it. Right. Yeah. So it starts right after reconciliation. She gets hospitalized. He kept saying when she was hospitalized, you should need to take her gallbladder out. You need to take her gallbladder out. And they're like, had we taken her gallbladder out, it would have killed her. That's how sick she was. Yeah. So, I'm sorry, I'm skipping around here. They're like, it's the husband. He's fucking doing this. But why is he doing it? There's a couple of reasons and a couple of theories of why the husband decides to stop poisoning his wife. And this is where it's eventually going to come back to plastic surgery. Mm-hmm. Okay. While the short 6 months he was in prison, he's addicted to heroin. Oh. So he needs money. He's trying to get whatever he can. He's cheating on his wife, everything else. He's having a huge affair on her. But like I said, if he was divorced, his mom was going to cut him off. So he had to reconcile with the wife. He writes a story called MD, Mass Destruction. Oh, God. And it's a story of... I know.
If I didn't hate him before, I hate him now.
They all write these stupid stories. And they all write the fucking murder plot in the story. Yeah. Like, why are you doing that? Do you think people are that dumb that they're not buying this?
Right. Oh, coincidentally, this is what happens.
It just happens to be what I did.
So weird.
So the story is how he is wronged. All right. How the whole system wronged him. How it wasn't his fault Sarah Smith died. Mm. So what they think with the poisoning is he wanted his wife to be so sick. He wanted her to have the gallbladder. And he wanted her to die on the table. So he could then turn to the medical board and say, see, that happens to, even in a hospital, that happens. You need to give me my medical license back. That's a fucking sick plan.
That is sick.
Sick plan. So they find out he was vandalizing his own house. He was, they're adding poison to his case. He was guilty of attempted first-degree assault. He pleaded guilty because he knew he was fucking dead to rights. Mm-hmm. 15 years in prison. His poor wife, for the rest of her life, is suffering effects. Like, she has tingling in her fingers. Yeah. She has no fine motor skills. Aww. The daughter's fine. Thank God. So it was supposed to be a plastic surgery botch. It was. But it actually turned out to be, I murdered my wife. Yeah. So now we're really going to get back to plastic surgery. I totally veered off on that one. But it was a great story and I loved it. Yeah. Anthony Pignataro. He looks kind of like a really bad Tom Selleck. With the mustache and the big hair. I mean, it was a snap-on toupee, apparently.
Oh, God.
So take it away, Sparkle.
Always check your doctor's credentials.
Speak to other people. Call the hospital. Find out what is the case like. Research your fucking doctor.
Yeah.
If it's cheap for a reason.
Right.
It's cheap for a reason.
Yeah, good plastic surgeons don't just give out discounts on the surgery.
Yes.
Unless you're apparently the Pope of Brazil.
Different. That's different.
Yeah. All right, so I got this. So I have this. I read this article.
Spit it out, Laura.
I know. It's called Black Madam Wanted for Performing Unlicensed Buttocks Injection Plastic Surgery.
Oh.
Yeah. So this girl, Claudia, I'm never going to say this poor thing's name right, Adertini. She's a 20-year-old from Britain, wanted to enhance her buttocks.
Oh, Kim Kardashian, responsible for a lot of deaths.
I know. A friend of hers wanted to enhance her hips, which I also don't want fat on.
I know.
They go online, because you can go online for fucking anything now, and they start talking to this woman from Saddle River, New Jersey. So they're from Britain.
Saddle River, New Jersey. You already know it's bad.
Yeah. They're from Britain. They're talking to this lady from Saddle River. She's been having these enhancements since 2008. She's
had them done to herself.
Okay. She refers them to her injector. So her injector is Padge Victoria Winslow, a self-described goth hip-hop singer from Pennsylvania. She uses a stage name.
Laura, do you need to say any more of why I would never go to this woman?
She uses a stage name, Black Madam.
Okay. This is just getting great.
Yeah. So Claudia and her friend come over here. They hook up with this lady that they've been talking to online.
So, excuse me, they can afford to fly over here for this shit.
Yeah. I mean...
But you're going to cheaper... Okay.
Yep. And they all go to the Hampton Inn near the Philadelphia International Airport.
Okay, if you're having anything done in a hotel room,
that's
a very bad sign.
If they come to your house to do it, don't
very
have it done.
Bad sign.
If you go to someone's house,
very bad sign. If they take you to the basement,
don't have it done. So they're all at the Hampton Inn. So they go to get these silicone injections from the Black Madam on February 7th at the Hampton fucking Inn in Philadelphia. The very illegal plastic surgery procedure was finished at 1:30 p.m. Medics were called to the hotel after that because Claudia was experiencing chest pain and difficulty breathing.
I wonder what happened.
Yeah. She was rushed to Mercy Fitzgerald Hospital and pronounced dead at 1:32 a.m.
What time did they finish?
1:30 p.m. So
12 hours later.
No, 12.
Oh, sorry.
12 hours. She was brought there, intubated, trying to be saved. She was dead. So police started investigating, obviously. The coroner is running tests, but their thought was the Black Madam injected silicone into a vein, in the buttocks instead of under the skin. And it landed in her lungs with a gel-like substance, because this is silicone
it's
that
like
you would use like for plumbing. It's not.
You know what? You're lucky if it's silicone that they're putting into you.
Right. So they can put oil, peanut butter,
tire sealant,
anything,
vegetable oil.
You don't know what they're putting in there. But it's like gel, thick gel that you use to like caulk stuff, piled up like rocks in her lungs, which essentially suffocated her. The Black Madam was caught. She is transgender. She was a guy. She became a woman. She said these procedures helped her to get her body, so she was just helping other people. She wanted other people to have that experience, but you are unlicensed. You're just throwing shit into people's bodies.
These people are not medical professionals on any level.
Not even close.
Not even close.
Not even close.
They just
She's just literally pumping silicone into this woman's ass and killing her. The other woman did get injected that day too, the one that they met online. She was fine because it didn't go into her bloodstream.
Right.
God only knows what her body looks like. But
there's other complications you get.
Right. But this poor woman died because this lady wanted to give them the opportunity to have the ideal bodies.
All right. Well,
don't go to the Hampton Inn.
No. And we're going to get more into this. I was getting very frustrated when I was watching. We'll get into it. Yeah. I'm going to do a couple of quick facts of plastic surgery. They come from the Plastic Surgery Statistics Report 2020. 15.6 million cosmetic procedures happen every year. The top 5, according to this, but this is 2 years old, is rhinoplasty, blepharoplasties, facelift, liposections, and boob jobs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say that BBLs has probably replaced rhinoplasties or something as the number one thing. I agree with you. I think.
Well, I don't even know that was number. It's just the amount that is
huge.
done has jumped so much.
Right.
It's like now like insane.
So the top 5 minimally invasive. These are things that, yes, you could go to a spa to have done. Botox, fillers, chemical peels, laser skin resurfacing. We'll talk about that because that's a big deal too.
Yeah.
And IPLs.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have top 5 reconstructive, which is tumor removal, scar repair, facial surgeries, laceration repairs, and hand surgeries. Mm-hmm. The highest age group to have plastic surgery is 30 to 39-year-olds at 45% of the cosmetic procedures.
Wow.
And I get it.
Because you're starting to
That's
age.
when you start
You've had
to
kids,
age.
your body's different. Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, my makeup mirror is, I have to look down into it, which is mistake number one.
Number one.
And I'm looking at it, and I can see, like, the little breath of a jowl coming in. And, you know, I look to Brian, I'm like, it's really tough getting old. Like, and he's like, well, I just don't think about it. I'm like, you don't look in the mirror sometimes.
It slaps you in the face every day.
Exactly. You don't look in the mirror sometimes and think, yeah, like this, it's getting old. He's like, well, I don't dwell on it. And like, his answer. So it's like, you don't fucking look and think what you used to look like at 20 and what you look like now.
Right.
He's like, yeah, but I don't ruin my life over it. I said, do you see me fucking knocking down the plastic surgeon's door? Do you see me crying in my pillow every night because I cut a couple of sags?
Yeah.
No, I'm just making a comment.
Yeah.
It's really hard to watch
It
sometimes when you remember how tight your skin was, how beautiful. My boobs were up high. I had the best body. Couldn't appreciate it. Didn't know what to do with it. And now, 30 years later, it's really hard to look at sometimes, you know. Kids take a toll on your face.
Yeah.
Job takes a toll on your face. And I'm too cheap and too afraid to go and do the shit that would make it look better.
Right.
Because these things are like any other drug.
Mm-hmm.
You start with fillers, and once you see what your face looks like, you're never going to stop.
No, because then it just goes
Yes.
like you have to keep
In
going.
fillers, you're doing it per syringe, and that's $600 to $1,200 per syringe. Your face needs 2 to 3. Yeah. I don't have that kind of money.
Yeah.
Botox is my drug, but I'm my own drug dealer, so I don't mind. You know, there's a fine line to me of like growing old gracefully, and then either letting yourself completely fall apart or going to the point where you look ridiculous.
Right.
I don't know what that line is yet, but
I'm very afraid of that line.
Yes,
like,
I don't want to look like a clown.
But then I'm like, but then I could look like those people.
Right.
I don't want to look
and
like
I
those
think
people.
that's what happens. I think you get so used to looking filled that at one point, I mean, I used to work for a woman. She looks like a fucking clown.
Yeah.
And nobody's going to tell her that, but I wouldn't go to somebody that looked like that either. She looks like a clown.
Yeah.
All right. So the word plastic comes from the Greek word. You know, I have to really start typing this shit. Plastikos, to mold or give form. And there is evidence of plastic surgery as far back as the Egyptians. They found a mummy in 2000 BC who had a prosthetic toe. Now, they don't know if it was for looks or just for balance, because people don't realize how important your fucking toes are. So you take them away. Yeah. Or you just like, so I was having PT on my feet, and they're asking me to lift my toes in a certain way, and my brain is saying, do it. And my body's like, can't do it. So I'm like, move. And my feet are just like, nope, they're not moving. It was the weirdest thing. And it's
so weird.
It's all these little micro movements that I was like, I can't do these. I just cannot do these. So your toes are pretty intense. So the 6th century BC texts depict rhinoplasties on people. They were fixing noses as far back as the 6th century. Cleft lip repair is said to have been carried out successfully in the 4th century by the Chinese doctors.
Oh.
Cleft lip, that's a big thing too. Yeah. Like, I really give those doctors credit for going down and
makes such a
those
difference.
poor people. In the 1800s, they were using wax into boobs to give women bigger boobs.
Really?
Wax. In the 1940s, the Japanese sex workers were using silicone to give themselves bigger boobs and bigger butts, because that's what American women looked like. World War I is really where you see the advanced in plastic surgeries. That's the first war where people are like surviving, maiming injuries. Their faces are blown off. I always think of Boardwalk Empire, where one of the characters had a half face. God, he was fucking handsome. I know, with his half face. I loved him. And they're working with prosthetics. These people were maimed and living, and you know, you're still living in a society that was cruel to it. Yeah. So that's where you're really seeing things happen. And you had a huge volume of facial fractures, and you combine that with the advances in blood transfusions and infection control. Surgeons are allowed to stop playing around with different techniques. I mean, you're talking 1800s, the syphilis nose, they would do flaps even then, or their nose would be connected to their arms. Like, these were things they were doing years ago. But then World War I really takes it. That comes from a brief history of plastic surgery from ancient Egypt to Beverly Hills, CNN style. Okay. So everyone wants plastic surgery. They all want to look better, but sometimes they're just going too far. And most of these no, I'm not going to say the professionals. You have professionals. They're in it to make money. If you go into plastic surgery, there are some who do the pro bono work, which I think is great.
And there are plastic surgeons that are not cosmetic surgeons.
Right. You have reconstructive plastic. Which,
they don't go in it for the
money.
Right.
Yeah, you've been burned. They're taking care of you. You smashed your face on a windshield. They're taking care of you. Some of them do both. And if you're going into cosmetic surgery, you're going in it for money. Not saying you don't have a skill. Not saying you're good. But the bottom line is dollars. They want to make money. And they make money. People are always going to feel they're ugly. Always. So that business is never going anywhere. You just always think you're going to perfect something. So that you really have to be careful what you're looking into. And like I said, you don't have to be a board certified plastic surgeon to do plastic surgery. Any Joe Schmo MD can do it.
Right.
Doesn't mean they should do it. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. Some of the surgeries, some of these surgeons, they attend like a weekend conference or a one-day class on Brazilian butt lift. And all of a sudden they're doing liposuction and butt lifts, which they have no training or experience. When we see the residents, they're doing 5 or 6 years of training in this for plastics. You can't just take a weekend class
and come out the same.
And even when I first started getting into Botox, you'd go, you'd do a didactic for a couple hours, and then you inject a couple people. You're on your fucking own. And the same with filler. Now, Botox, you hate it, it goes away. Nothing. You're never going to permanently damage somebody with that. But filler, you could necrose somebody's face. You could blind them. And all I got was a fucking 4-hour class. Are you kidding me? They're starting to do more and more, but still, it's ridiculous. In 2007, Kanye West's mother, Donna, she passes away at 58 years old.
I forgot that.
After liposuction, a tummy tuck, and a breast reduction. The autopsy showed she did have a pre-existing heart condition. She died the day after surgery from the heart condition. And after she died, Arnold Schwarzenegger, who was governor at the time, enacted the Dondas law requiring plastic surgeons to ensure patients have had a physical and are cleared by her PCP before they undergo plastic surgery. So she has this cardiac issue. She goes in for this huge, like, you're talking a breast reduction, which is big in itself, a tummy tuck, and liposuction. Too much on her heart, fucking killed her.
Several hours of work.
Right. And you can't just remove a shitload of fat and your body be okay with it.
Fluid shift.
Your body doesn't know what to do with it, and it's going to create a problem if you do it the wrong way. So I was talking about plastic surgery with one of the guys at work, and he's like, have you ever watched Traffic on Nat Geo? I'm like, no. He goes, she does all kinds of black market shit. So I watched Trafficked Season 2, Episode 1, Black Market Plastic Surgery.
Okay.
Holy
It's
shit.
real life.
Real life.
Okay.
It took an act of God to get anybody to talk to her. And it was eye-opening. It talks a lot about what you were talking about, stuff I had no idea. There was a big transgender element to this, as people who are doing the injecting and people getting the injecting, which is interesting because they want the body, they don't have the money. So they're resorting to these back alley places to have this shit done. So it starts with her talking about pumpers, which is what the Black Madam was. Is that what she's called? Black Madam?
Yeah, that was her.
She's a pumper. They are underground, non-medical people injecting clients with silicone, if you're lucky. They have caught them injecting tire sealant, vegetable oil, not even, like you said, industrial strength silicone, not medical grade silicone. Silicone needs to belong in a sack. It
can't just be floating
You
around.
can't just inject pure silicone somewhere and expect it to do anything. It needs to be in a breast implant or any kind of an implant. They're covered in plastic or whatever material it is, but you cannot just inject straight silicone anywhere and expect it to work, okay? It may work for a minute, but you're going to have problems with that silicone. So they're done in hotel rooms, like you said. $1,000 a client for 15 minutes. They lay you on the bed. There's no prep. There's no clean. And they just pump it in. One pumper made $40,000 in one day. Cash. $40,000 in a day. Cash. You can't catch them.
Right.
So when she was talking about, she goes to the strip club. These girls' asses were like things I've never seen in my life. They were ginormous. I've just, in the boobs, and nothing on them is real.
Yeah.
The nails are fake, the eyelashes are fake, the hair is fake, the boobs are fake, the butts are fake. Nothing on them is, you're achieving a non-realistic look. That's what's driving me crazy. I mean, we went from the 80s with Kate Moss, who looked like she needed a drink, to now these girls are over the top. I mean, women are just not built this way.
No.
So this strip club, these women will make $10,000 a night. They pay $400 to strip, and they will make $10,000 a night. Okay. So they're talking to the guys, the two mooks running the place, and you're like, oh, do you girls have plastic surgery? He's like, 99% of them. Yeah, they all have fucking the lips, the eyes, everything. So she's talking to this one girl who would have been beautiful on her own, but she's enhanced to the hilt. And she's like, well, do you have the name of a pumper? She's like, I don't know the name of a pumper, but you would have to pay me $250 to give it to you anyway. So if I want to get pumped and you know the name, you're charging me $250 just to get the name. And then the pumper wanted like $5,000 for the interview. She's like, we don't pay for interviews. We're not doing this. So it took her months to find people to talk to her. Okay. So I talked about silicone. The only silicone the FDA approves is for eye procedures, to be honest with you.
That's...
Even breast silicones are not. It's only for the eyes. The side effects of injecting silicone are ongoing pain, scarring, necrosis, permanent disfigurement. If it migrates, the embolisms cause infection, stroke, or death. Because that embolism that went into her lungs could have gone to her heart and killed her, could have gone to her head and killed her. The FDA does not know how many complications occur because they're not reported. You don't know what these people are dealing with because they don't talk about it. They see the highest amount of problems they're seeing is in Miami. Miami is a hotbed of issues. There have been reports of people being injected with, like I said, tire sealant, mineral oil, baby oil, cooking oil, and even cement. So, this woman, Mariana, I think her name is, off she goes to Miami. Holy fuck, Miami. Holy fuck. So, you go to the strip mall, you know, there's your Kohl's, there's Target, fucking plastic surgery, you know, get a Brazilian butt lift for $350,000, for $3,500. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, and they're everywhere. Yeah. Florida's laws are lax enough that these people are flying under the radar. So they're talking about Dr. Ishmael Labrador. He is the owner of a ton of these strip mall surgery centers, for lack of a better word. Right. And they market specifically towards ethnic women, Hispanic and Dominican. They're young ethnic women they're targeting. I don't know why it's not, and I'm not saying this anyway, when you're watching it, that's what's going into these clinics too. It's not young white girls, and I don't know why. I don't know if they have the money. I don't know why.
One of the articles I was reading said it's like a race thing. And even though white girls are getting it done, like this black woman was speaking about it, she said, it's the ideal, right? Like in a black woman, like the big boobs, the big butt. If you don't have a big butt and you're a black woman, you're lesser than.
Oh, that's
awful.
That,
which is not true. But in their minds, because of all this, you know,
that makes
work
sense,
and the work they can get, well, they're getting those big butts from these beautiful black women. You're a black woman, you don't have a big butt. Now you need a big butt because that's what you're supposed to have. Like white women don't have big butts, but black women do have. You know, like she was saying
because that's all you're seeing going in there.
She said it's like a race. It's almost like a race thing, and it makes you feel even less than in your race because you're not that ideal of the race.
If we don't have enough to deal with as women,
just
let's
ridiculous.
This shit.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But I'm wondering if that's
it could be
like
because
a Dominican woman, quote unquote, should have a big.
They're not targeting white women.
Yeah.
The women in the advertisements. He is specifically going to young Hispanic and women of color. That's what he's targeting. Yeah. So he owns all these strip mall clinics, and his clinics have left 8 women dead in 6 years and nearly a dozen women with serious complications. The names of the clinics have changed 3 to 4 times. Every time somebody dies, he changes the name of the clinic. And what doesn't change is the staff, the HR department, or anything else. So literally you'll see like Nicole Nichols, HR, Jolie Cosmetics. Next year, Nicole Nichols, HR, Eurogen, Nicole. It changes .com, but it's the same fucking people in there. Okay. And they, like I said, it usually happens after the death of a patient. He employs doctors who are not board certified, and some aren't even licensed physicians. They may have come from another country. They never got licensed here. He has an aggressive ad campaign geared towards young women of color and for half the price of a regular plastic surgeon. Mm-hmm. So if a Brazilian butt, I think that we were talking about this, a Brazilian butt lift, if you went in Boston, is going to be about $8,000. Mm-hmm. Down there, if you go to one of the lesser surgeons, he's charging you $3,500. If you want somebody with a little more experience, it's $5,300 because she goes in. Yeah. They wouldn't let the cameras in or anything, but she goes in, and that's what they're quoting her. So a 59-year-old mom from Georgia, she had to have emergency surgery after her small bowel was perved 3 times during her plastics procedure. So I told you, liposuction is fucking aggressive. So if you're getting aggressive enough in the stomach, you're going to perf through the muscle wall and you're going to hit the colon.
Right. If you don't know what you're doing.
You're spilling. So I'm listening to the last podcast on the left I was telling you, and they were talking about Billy the Kid, and they're talking about gunshot wounds in the Old West. And they're like, it's the bowel content spilling into the abdomen. It would kill you in a day, but it's painful and blah, blah. And that's what's happening here. Your bowel content spilling into your abdomen. Mm-hmm. That is never good. No. A 33-year-old woman is hospitalized after her liver was lacerated during a procedure. Yep.
I mean, you have to really be pushing in, like, straight down. Mm-hmm. Like, not...
Unless they were doing the boobs or something.
Maybe. But, you know, like, I don't know. It's hard to explain it if you've never seen it. But, like, when they're doing it, their hands on top of your fat.
And they're holding it.
And they're holding it. And they're going in
but I'm going to
parallel, not...
I'm going to explain something later on why these mistakes might be happening. Okay. In 2016, Heather Meadows went into a Labrador clinic. She died after fat embolism that was injected into her deep vein traveled into her heart and lungs, killing her instantly. Oh, God. The doctor, James McDew, denies any wrongdoing. Oh. State health investigators found he never examined Meadows, and the 3-hour procedure took him 55 minutes.
55 minutes?
55 minutes. These guys are doing... So a Brazilian butt lift, they did the math. So a Brazilian butt lift is supposed to be, I think, 4 hours long.
Probably.
The average surgeon tops. Let's say he's a fucking phenom. He's doing 4 and he's working all day. Mm-hmm. These guys are doing 6 to 8.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. They said you can't even clean the room.
If you did it the way it was supposed to be done, you would be operating 24 hours a day. Mm-hmm. There's no way. The math doesn't add up. Yeah. So 51-year-old Maribel Hernandez, she goes in for BBL. Mm-hmm. She wanted to back out a few weeks before. She just felt like this isn't right. Mm-hmm. They were not going to refund her $3,000 deposit if she backed out. Her son's like, she didn't want to do it. She went down and do it. After her BBL, her heart rate and blood pressure dropped, and she's rushed to the hospital and pronounced dead. The body fat was injected into her veins by a Dr. Anthony Hassan. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go through a bunch of women real quick. Yeah. Renika Hall, 25, March 2017, goes in for Brazilian butt lift, died after fat was injected into her vessels. Mm-hmm. Maria Christian, this girl is gorgeous. Mm-hmm. If she thinks she needs plastic surgery, I need a fucking overhaul. I know. 32, she goes into cardiac arrest on the table. Oh. Okay? Staff calls 911. Here comes EMTs, paramedics, ready to save the day. They won't let them in the front door. They had to go around the back, which
because they didn't want people seeing them.
I don't know what, probably. It's either they didn't want people seeing them or they were hiding shit before they got in there. So they're blocked from the entrance. They have to go in the back. By the time they get there, she's dead. Oh, done. Kizzy London, 40, 2017, cardiac arrest. Elizabeth Morales, 41, and Jasmine Smith, 30, both died from blood clots due to surgery. Clinic has not recorded their deaths at all.
Yeah. Because they didn't die in the facility?
I don't know. Tola Warren St. Clair, 43, she calls the clinic as instructed because she's having intense, extreme post-op pain. Mm-hmm. They told her to come in and check out. They check her up, send her back home. She's found dead at home 4 hours after they sent her back home. The autopsy shows she died from a combination of the drugs they used on her during the procedure because they're using epi and things, like you said, to stop the blood. So in 2007, Labrador was arrested. This is before all of this happened. Right. He's arrested after undercover officials found unlicensed doctors performing these operations. Mm-hmm. He gets 3 years probation, $30,000 fine, which That's nothing to him.
Right. He
has this
40 in an hour.
Huge fucking horse ranch in Miami. You should see. It's ridiculous. Felony charges were dropped in 2010 after he completed a court diversion program, which now allows him to keep his medical license because he's no longer a felon. Court documents show that his doctors perform up to 8 BBLs a day, which is twice the number that can safely be done. Mm-hmm. So on Nat Geo, she gets an office manager, and he looks like Squid Games. He's got this fucking weird mask on. I could have even been a woman. I don't know who was behind that. So one of the staff speaks, and he says, the reason they can do this is because the surgical technicians are doing the surgery. And these surgeons are coming in for 5 minutes, and they're going to the next room, and they're going to the next room. So the surgical tech's doing your fucking liposuction.
Oh, my God.
Surgical techs are not trained to do liposuction.
No.
So...
And they should lose their accreditation and everything.
One surgeon collected $33,000 after doing 24 BBLs in a 5-day stretch.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So the clinic has changed from, in 2014, it was called Vanity Clinic. 2015, Encore Plastic Surgery. 2016, Erase Plastic Surgery. And now it's called Jolie Surgery. Labrador claims this is normal business practice. This is what we do. I change my name every year. You know, it just happens to coincide with 2 or 3 deaths.
You don't change your name if everything's going well and you have a good reputation.
Exactly.
Right.
That's the reputation.
Right.
Nope, he's changed it 3 or 4 times. So they end this episode with a little writing at the end. So in June of 2021, Florida health officials do a surprise inspection of the place. They denied access to the charts. They denied access to the ORs. In the brief moment they were there, they did find one unlicensed surgeon. They left for fear of their lives. That's how aggressive the staff was.
Wow.
Left, and he's still fucking open.
Well, but these people who have other things, like they're probably scarred and they're not going to say anything because they're probably afraid.
But they don't let you into the charts.
Right.
You're a state official. Bring the fucking state troopers down. Shut the place down.
Right.
You would do it if they were serving salmonella.
Right.
Like, wow. Yeah. He's still operating.
That's unreal.
So, they were talking, there was a DA, a private investigator, and a state legislator. They're working to try to change the laws in Florida. The reason they're all in Florida, that's where the population they're hitting is. Mm-hmm. Miami is huge. Yeah. That's where the population is, and the laws are allowing this to happen. Mm-hmm. So they're trying to redo the laws. So we'll go through safety after you finish with yours.
Okay. So I have another article. This was in the Rolling Stone.
Rolling Stone.
It was
Papa was a Rolling
The story
Stone.
was actually a million places, but Rolling Stone did a really good job. So Carissa Rajpal was 26 years old when she died from an illegal butt implant procedure. She was trying to break into the porn industry in LA. She felt like she needed a bigger butt to do it, to make more money, to be in better films, whatever. She needed a bigger butt.
I want to take these girls and be like, you are better than this.
I know.
You are better than this.
She has a husband. He tells her...
He's okay with her going to the porn business?
No, he didn't like any of it. Like, she started, they moved here from another country, and then they moved to LA, and she was doing, strip clubs and stuff, and then she got involved in, the ranches.
The thought the thought of what these girls go through.
It's awful.
Skeevy, nasty, smelly-ass men.
I know.
Blech.
And then
and what
from the ranches, she's like, okay, I can go into porn and make more money and whatever. So her husband's telling her not to do it at all. I mean, I don't. This is bad. Yeah. He's like, don't do it. You don't need any plastic surgery. You're beautiful. Like, you can make money like that. She's like, nope, I got to have the bigger butt for the movies and stuff. Mm-hmm. He thought, this is sketchy. Like, these aren't real doctors. Like, don't do it. She decides she wants to do it. So she goes to a male friend's house to meet with the injectors. The friend, whose house it is, said to her, don't do anything. You can have a consultation with these people, but don't let them do anything to you. Right. This is my house. It's not a place where you get injections. And she's like, oh no, don't worry about it. It's not a problem. They've done it twice before.
To her?
To her. She's had this done twice before with these women. So no problem. Don't worry. We're going to get it. I'm fine. Everything's fine. She actually had one of the injections. She filmed it and put it on her Instagram or
you were playing fucking Russian roulette every time you let them touch you.
So she has it on film, like they're in the back, her ass is in the thing, they're injecting her. She's like, oh, look, I'm getting my butt injected or whatever, like the second time she had it done.
I wish you guys could have seen the way she just did it. Oh, look, I'm getting my butt injected. Hello. It's kind of funny. I'm sorry.
So the injectors are a mother and daughter dynamic duo. Libby Adame, she was 51 at the time, and Alicia Gales, who was 23. They show up to the friend's house. They go into the bedroom and they inject Carissa's butt with liquid silicone, which they had injected her twice before. They're in there for like 30 minutes. They call out to the friend now. Hey, bring some sugar water. You need to bring some sugar water into the room.
Oh my God.
And he's like, okay.
Yeah, but while you're at it, call 911.
Yeah, the friend goes in with sugar water or Coke or whatever he had. And he goes in. Carissa's extremely pale. She's struggling to breathe. She's in the bed. And he's like, shouldn't you call 911? There's something wrong. They said, no, she just needs some sugar and she'll be better. Give her some Coke.
Because their medical background was what? Okay.
No, well, the daughter is a nail technician.
Oh, she was a technician of some sort at least.
Yes,
Okay, she did nails.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she's like, they're like, no, give her the Coke. Give her the sugar water. She'll be much better after that. He goes to give it to her. She can't drink anything. And she becomes unconscious. So he starts mouth to mouth and he's screaming to them, you have to call 911. Like, you have to call 911. She
this
can't
is beyond
drink.
sugar
like,
water.
So the women do call 911. And they open the gate. Meanwhile, while they're waiting for 911, they have packed up all their shit. They open the gate and they leave when then the EMTs are coming in. Yeah. The friend can only tell the emergency personnel, like, she had something injected. They injected her with something. He has no idea. There's nothing there to tell them. Like, he's just, she had something injected in her butt. He has, he can't give them anything else.
I hope to God he's not held responsible.
No, he wasn't. Okay. Carissa is rushed to the hospital. She's intubated. They have to code her. Less than 3 hours after the injection, she's dead. The medical examiner found silicone oozing from her puncture wounds internally in the muscle of her buttocks. So her muscle had been punctured and there's just silicone seeping out of it. She died from acute cardiopulmonary dysfunction caused by silicone injection. So that silicone got into her blood vessels, up into her heart and her lungs, and killed her. 2 years later, Adame and Gales are charged with murder and 3 felony counts of practicing medicine without certification. Police recovered tens of thousands of dollars in cash and injection supplies at the house. Hundreds of people come forward after the charges were announced, claiming that they or their family members had been harmed or disfigured by these women. How these women even get all these people? Adame has 11,000 followers on Instagram. She's always bragging about parties she's at and the lavish lifestyle she leads. She's like Instagram famous. And then they kind of get women, when they're like, oh, where are you?
I'm telling you, the phone is the bane of the world.
Oh my God. The internet is the downfall
of
downfall
of society.
Humanity. I always say that. So they are using their Instagram stories and shit to draw these women in and get their clients from their Instagram personalities. Another woman, Laura Moreno, is an LA-based singer. She's pressured into getting injections to further her career as a singer. She knew someone that had gone to Adame, so she felt a little better about seeing her because she went, she's fine. They met at a salon in 2014. Adame charged her $2,000 to $3,000 and injected her buttocks with what Adame told Laura were stem cells.
Where the fuck would she get stem cells?
Which made this girl feel better. Like, oh, okay, it's not like...
How stupid can
I
you be?
think people want to believe it, right? Like,
where is she going to get... She's not a medical professional to begin with. Where is she going to get goddamn stem cells?
I don't know. But I think this lady was already weary. And then she's like, okay, and then these are... Okay, so it's not like...
And what are they going to do?
Peanut oil.
Grow you into liver in your ass?
It will be better for you. So this makes Moreno feel better. It's natural. It's not this shit that she's throwing at me. After the first visit, everything's fine. Like, she's fine. She heals. She has whatever lift. She looks good. She goes back for the second. Because you have to keep getting these because they just absorb.
Well, because you know what? I forgot to talk about the complications, and I will talk about it when you're done.
Your body just...
doesn't do shit with it. It doesn't know what to do with it.
Makes it disintegrate, pumps it through your system, and it gets rid of it. So she goes in for the second one. And she develops leg pain after the second one. The pain keeps getting worse. So she goes and sees a dame at the salon. She's like, listen, this is...
Sugar water. Just put some sugar water.
This is getting worse and worse and worse. So a dame injects Laura with something for the pain and for the infection, if you have one. So she must have given her antibiotics or something.
I can't. Where is she getting this shit?
No, you can get fucking anything on the internet.
Apparently.
So Laura gets this injection. She's like, okay, I'll be fine. You know, she meets a friend for lunch right after the injection. All of a sudden, she's wicked sick. Like, wicked sick, runs to the bathroom, vomiting, diarrhea, like, immediately wicked sick.
Give her tapeworms.
No. They leave the restaurant quickly because she's vomiting and shitting. She's almost practically fainting. The friend gets her up to her apartment, which is, like, on the second floor. The friend's like, you should go to the hospital. She's like, no, I don't want to go to the hospital. Because I think people get like self-embarrassed. Like, I made this poor decision.
Right, now I look
and
like
now
an idiot.
I feel stupid.
My stem cells aren't working.
Right. So she's freezing. She's sweating. She's vomiting. She's going to the bathroom. She finally agrees to go.
Can I just add, if you are having any kind of symptoms suddenly like this, go to the hospital immediately. Okay? Yep. Don't sit in somebody's apartment thinking, I don't know what's wrong and I'm back. Go to the hospital immediately.
You'll be more best when you're dead with these symptoms. She agrees to go to the hospital finally. They have to get a neighbor to carry her downstairs because she's that deathly ill that she can't.
911?
I'm
sorry. Why am I asking these questions like you fucking know?
So she's admitted to the hospital in septic shock. Ooh. They told her if she arrived 10 minutes later, she would have died.
I believe it.
She's released from the hospital like a week or 2 weeks later. Like, she was sick, had a central line, had, IV antibiotics, super, super sick. She's released. She goes to the police department to file a report. They kind of like blow her off. And they're like, well, you have to go to like the court or something, get some sort of blah, 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 blah. They're not like helpful. She doesn't know what to do. She's like,
why do these people get away with this shit?
Right. So she tried, but then like the step, she was like, I don't even know what I have to do. Like, I went to the police. They're not doing anything. So she didn't do anything. That was in 2014. This lady died in 2020, I think.
Wow. 6 years.
And they have been operating.
They get the money they've been
this whole time. Think about the people they maimed, have killed, whatever. So they're both arrested on August 5th, 2021 and held on $2 million bail
I've never
each.
seen this on the news.
Both were bonded out within 2 days.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know what connections they have, but they have somebody that can bond each out for $2 million. Yeah. Authorities are begging more people to come forward because they know there's hundreds more. Because people
you've been operating that long.
Reporting it. Yeah. Right. But they're like, there's way more people than this. They need to come forward so they can be charged.
You
with
need to
all
take
of
the
that
reports
stuff
when somebody comes forward too.
Right. I think now they're taking it seriously, but
well, one of the parts of this Nat Geo special I forgot to talk about is they go to a plastic surgeon who is fixing all of these silicone injections. So first the person's lying on the bed and he takes the knife handle of the scalpel and he just scrapes it along the skin and it's all silicone oozing out of the skin.
Yeah.
Then he goes, you open up and it's just silicone everywhere. And sometimes the body loves to do this when it doesn't recognize something. It puts a capsule around it. It puts it in a baggie and it shoves it in a corner. Except it makes little hard capsules all over your ass now. So it's bumpy and lumpy and you can't get them out.
Yeah.
Because it's like
stuck.
cement.
Yeah.
So you may not have problems. You may think you look great for a minute. And one of the girls they were interviewing, she's like, yeah, I had silicone injected in my ass like 10 years ago, blah, blah. She goes, I'm waiting. I know something's going to happen. I wait every day. I wonder, it's like, today's going to be the day.
Right.
It's so bad.
Yeah.
It's just so bad. I can't even.
And one of the articles was saying something like, okay, you get this done. You get a botched job. You need to have it fixed. Some plastic surgeons, the ones I know, will reputable, and they will fix you. You come to them, they will fix you. No, maybe not for free. It depends on your health. Right. If it's affecting your health, your insurance will pay for it. If it's not, you're paying cash. But if it's just for looks, you're paying cash. But he said a lot of plastic surgeons won't even touch you because you were already botched. So now if they take you on and you have something wrong, you could be sued for that. And you're a reputable surgeon, so they can get you. They can't get these people that run away. So they're afraid to even touch these people with these botched jobs.
Because it's already bad. Look, in the little bit I dabble, people who are seeking out the stuff, I don't want to say they're crazy, but they're intense about their looks. So I could see them. But you're already
very sensitive about
but I can see them being botched, coming in and blaming them for all of the problems if they don't fix them back the way they were. I can see that.
And you're not probably going to get back to
you're
the way
never
you
going
were.
to get
You're
back.
Gonna have you have this scarring. You have these problems. You're not going to look the way you did previously.
Right. I mean, there was that supermodel who had her face injected with vegetable oil.
Yeah.
She's grotesque.
Yeah. It's awful.
It's awful.
I know.
So the guys on Botched, I mean, they drive me crazy, and they're making a shitload of money, but they are fixing a lot of really bad surgery, and they're really changing these people. I mean, some of these boob jobs that they've fixed, God. I'm like, oh my God, could you imagine walking around like that? Or the nose jobs that went bad. It's horrific what these people are walking around with because they just want to fix this little bump and their whole fucking nose is fucked. Yeah. Sorry.
Well, even I've recently done cases like with people like that. People went to other countries.
Yes.
To have it done because they can pay cheap in cash. Yeah. They come back. It doesn't look so bad, but they're so fucking infected.
Yes.
You have to take everything down. Just
don't do it. So
you have to go to a board certified, reputable surgeon,
plastic surgeon
that you've seen their work. You have seen their results.
Right. They investigate your surgeon.
Show you
all of their stuff.
A million.
Don't get them off of Instagram.
No.
Don't get them off of the internet.
Right. I mean, even I'm sure some of the I know plastic surgeons that are on Instagram and they are very good, but don't get them just because they're on. Then you go to their office. Then you go to the hospital. Right. You see what they have.
You should be having it in a clinic, like anesthesia. You don't go into a hotel room for anything. No. There's no procedures being done in a hotel room.
Be like my mother. When I had my wisdom teeth pulled, she grilled.
My mother did the same thing.
The oral surgeon and was like, "Where's your defibrillator?" And he was like, "What?" And she's like, "Where's your defibrillator?" And he's like, we actually have it over there. He goes, no one has ever asked me if I had a defibrillator. She's like, well, if you put my daughter to sleep, you need to have a defibrillator. And he's like, well, we do. But I'm just literally, he's like, people should ask that. No one does. You need to know that they have the stuff to bring you back. Anything could happen.
And you want to see their work. Yeah. You want to see their work. Do not go to unapproved cosmetic surgeries. Go to FDA. FDA approves. I mean, there are stuff that's being done that's off of the FDA label, but go to FDA approved things. Like you want your silicone implants approved. You don't want to have even if something happened with the silicone implant that's FDA approved, they can track it. Yes.
They know you have it. They can find you and tell you need to have that removed.
And you'll have some recourse if it's bad. Research your procedure. Inquire about safety and certifications. You need to know what's going on. Does your surgeon have a plan if there is a complication? Like I said, your mother there's a defibrillator there. What are they going to do? You're going to go to an office where the guy doesn't even have a fucking anesthesiologist and you're giving you sodium pentothal? Research your surgeon. Go if it's cost you if it's a difference of $1,000, that's the difference of your life. It really is. You need to. Oh God,
it's not worth dying.
No,
for.
I mean, and I'm telling you, we could fill hours of stories of people who were botched or died, or all the other shit. So, that really does. I mean, I was listening to like the last episode and I'm like, Merry Christmas, see you next year. I'm like, no, this really is it this time. Okay. There's no more weeks left.
No, we're 2 days from Christmas.
This is it. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. Yeah. This will come out after Christmas, but Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
We dragged ourselves out just for you guys. So I was talking to somebody today who I haven't talked to in a very long time. And she's like, I don't do anything on the internet, but I listen to you guys every week. And I love listening to you guys. It's so funny. So thank you guys for listening.
Thank you.
I love seeing our little numbers ticking up. Yeah. And ticking up, knowing people are listening. Laura had a party and it's funny because I walk in and everyone knows so much about me and I forget that I'm not just talking to you down in your basement.
People are listening.
There's people listening to everything. So hi everybody, because I forget you there. All right, enjoy. I'm gonna get some new stuff coming up for the new year. Get any New Year's resolutions this year, Laura?
I mean, no. Just get through it.
I gotta lose some weight, dude. I say that every New Year's.
On the weight front.
I do it every year. I do it every year. I start out, I lose it. I'm great through the summer. All it comes back in December.
I know.
You'd think I'd stop doing this to myself.
Yeah, it's hard though. I'm gonna exercise. I have not been exercising.
I like to eat. I would like to never have to wear a mask again except at work. So let's see what 2022 brings. Maybe we'll get ahead of this. We'll be on variant Z and see what happens. So enjoy. Please be safe on the new year. Yes. No drinking, driving.
No.
And we'll talk to you in the new year. We'll get some fun stuff.
Bye.
Bye.
Like, subscribe, rate, and review the Scissors and Scrubs podcast on whatever podcast app you listen to us on. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Scissors and Scrubs. And email us any of your stories or thoughts to scissorsnscrubs@gmail.com.